What's up, you guys? Welcome to another Discovery Crew video. My name is Zorba. Science is my favorite thing. I love science. What is up, everyone? My name is Sophia and welcome back to another Discovery Crew video. Today we will be learning about, drumroll please, marine geology. What is marine geology? Well, marine refers to the ocean and geology is the study of the physical structures of the earth. So, marine geology is the study of the ocean floor. We'll be talking about oil and sediment and natural disasters and volcanoes and islands. So stick around, it's gonna be fun. Now, you may have noticed that the earth we walk on isn't just flat like this table. We have hills and valleys and mountains and volcanoes. But what if I told you that even though the ocean may look flat to all of us, the ocean floor is just as varied as the land we walk on? Let's start by talking about the features of the ocean floor. Now, first we have the continental shelf. The continental shelf is a shallow portion of ocean floor that surrounds land masses. This is where a lot of marine life lives, and this is where we swim when we go to the beach. The continental shelf then slopes down into the abyssal plain. The abyssal plain is an area of deep ocean that makes up about 70% of the ocean floor. This region is over 10,000 feet deep. In fact, it's so deep that sunlight can't even reach the bottom here. But even so, there are still lots of living creatures and flourishing ecosystems that exist here. For those of you who don't know, an ecosystem is a community of living organisms. Another ocean floor feature is deep trenches. These are depressions in the deepest part of the ocean floor that typically are formed when old crust from one tectonic plate gets pushed under another. The deepest trench that we know of is the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. Now, this trench is 7 miles deep and about 6 times as wide. That's huge. Now, deep trenches are a really good segue into the really juicy stuff. Plate tectonics. Tectonic plates are huge pieces of the Earth's crust that move around very slowly beneath our feet. And they fit together kind of like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Now, there are 9 major plates that make up the Earth's crust, but there are also a lot of smaller ones too. These plates push and pull and separate from each other, and they're responsible for a lot of phenomena we observe on land, like tsunamis and earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Excuse me, I thought we were gonna talk about volcanoes. Well, I'm getting to it, but first, mountains. Just like on dry land, there are ridges and mountains that rise out of the sea floor. The mid-ocean ridge is an underwater mountain range that extends across all the world's oceans. Now, this is technically the longest mountain range in the world. Now, why is this important? Well, volcanic activity at these mid-ocean ridges is what forms new crust. Volcanic activity is when lava spews out of the Earth's core and hardens on the ocean floor, forming the new crust. Now, this happens relatively constantly, but it kind of goes unnoticed by us because, well, it's underwater and it really has minimal impact on humans. You would really only notice it if you were a mermaid, which I am, obviously. MOR volcanism is the most common type of volcanism on Earth. There's actually more volcanic activity at MORs than from those giant, explosive, dramatic volcanoes you see on TV and movies. As new crust is formed from volcanic activity at MORs, older crust is pushed away from the ridge. This mechanism is known as seafloor spreading, and it moves tectonic plates by pushing them around. Now, over a longer period of time, it can cause continental drift, which changes the arrangement of continents. Now, did you know that all 7 continents used to be one giant mega continent until they broke apart about 175 million years ago? Volcanoes can form in the middle of the ocean beneath areas where magma, or hot liquefied rock, rises from deep within the Earth's core, resulting in volcanoes and sometimes an entire island. A good example of this is Hawaii. Hawaii is actually the world's largest mountain, from seafloor to top. Underwater volcanoes are known as seamounts. They're pretty similar to the ones we have on land, and they account for much of the undersea landscapes. Now, another important term for us to learn is subduction. This is when oceanic crust gets forced under a continental landmass. This often results in volcanic eruption or even earthquakes. Earthquakes occur when tension or friction between oceanic and continental crust causes an energy release during subduction. And this causes a lot of shaking and may induce landslides or even tsunamis. The Pacific Ring of Fire follows much of the world's subduction zones, or areas where subduction occurs. This is why there's a lot of earthquakes and volcanic activity in these regions. For example, the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. Now my friend Olivia is going to give us a volcano demonstration.
Here, we have a space warrior battling some evil robots on the side of an active volcano. Let's hope that it doesn't erupt. Oh wait, the volcano is starting to erupt. When volcanoes erupt, lava flows down the side of the mountain and engulfs everything that's in its path. This is why you pick better locations for your battles.
Aw, Luke Skywalker's dead.
So what about some other natural disasters? Earthquakes occur when energy is released from movements deep within the Earth. These movements occur along fault lines, which are boundaries for tectonic plates. When the energy is released, it causes shaking above ground, which we experience as an earthquake. Now, imagine compressing a spring. This is the only spring I could find in my house, and it's really small, so it won't work, but imagine if I compress this and it was a little bigger. When I release it, what do you think is gonna happen? It's gonna bounce around and out and release energy. The same thing happens when tectonic plates and parts of the Earth are compressed. They release energy, which causes shaking. Now, I don't think it would work, but imagine it could bounce. Let's try it. It's not gonna work. Tsunamis are a series of large waves that start in the ocean and can be produced by underwater earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. As the waves reach shallow water near land, they increase in size, and this allows them to cause the sort of damage we typically associate them with. As you might expect, really severe tsunamis are caused by really large earthquakes. Earthquakes can sometimes push up the sea floor, therefore pushing up the water and creating waves. The waves then split, meaning one set of waves will travel towards land and the other set of waves will travel out towards the deep ocean. As the waves get closer to land, they get bigger and bigger by picking up surrounding water into the wave. This is why, before a tsunami hits, the ocean will recede from the land, kind of like a really low tide. And this is the water getting pulled into the tsunami wave.
Hi there, we are going to do a tsunami demonstration. So right here we have a clear plastic tub with some sand and some decoration. This is going to be our ocean, and here we have a block of wood that is going to serve as our tectonic plate. So what should happen in this experiment is when we lift up the wood as a fault slip and a tectonic plate would slip over another tectonic plate, causing it to rise, it should cause a wave that wipes out some of our sand. Let's see if we can make a tsunami. Well, that was something of a tsunami. You can see some of our flowers and pine cones that could be stand-ins for buildings or property were damaged by this storm. This is just a repeated tsunami in an area that sees frequent earthquakes, such as along a fault line, and over time you see they kind of wear away the sand, which is why things built on sand often start to erode after a while.
Oil that we often use to fuel our cars is stored in marine rock in the deep sea or near subduction zones. Basically what happens is the sandstone acts like a sponge for the oil, and then another layer of rock, such as mudstone, will surround the sandstone and stop the oil from seeping out. We can then extract the oil using really large, expensive drilling equipment. However, this drilling process can disrupt marine habitats in the area. which is one reason engineers are trying to find other ways to power our vehicles. If you want to learn more about this, check out the Human Impacts video. Okay everyone, we talked about the ocean floor and oil and plate tectonics and natural disasters and volcanoes. But that is it for today. If you like this video and want to stay updated on more videos, like and subscribe, and join our community to share your tips and ideas at our website linked below. But that is all for today. Bye crew, see you next time.